All right, welcome back to Political Reacts. That's what I'm calling this series of musical reactions where, I look at music videos and do, typical kind of YouTube music video reaction. We listen to the music, we give our comment, etc. But we try and break it down from, at least from my libertarian perspective. And I'm fairly knowledgeable of political philosophies and ideologies and etc. And try and understand them as political songs, as protest songs. As they're as it is that they're trying to be praxis, how effective are they at that? And so in order to do so, we're looking at a bunch of different music. We've done a couple different remixes of Richmond North of Richmond as well as the original, just because as I was starting this series, that's what everyone was talking about. So I figured, yeah, let's hop on that wagon and steal some views, boys. But no, in all seriousness, that's what people were talking about. So let's engage in that. So I asked you guys to give me suggestions. A bunch of people said Tim Pool, Will of the People. And then there was some other ones. We will definitely get to some other ones. Please continue to put in the comments what songs you want to hear. And so I want to look at Tim Pool, Will of the People. Full disclosure, I think I've heard some of this before, if not all of it. But that was when it came out. I vaguely remember that it was like a punk song, maybe. I remember that I feel like I remember that it wasn't good enough for me to listen all the way through. But maybe my tastes have changed. Maybe the song is not as, maybe it's better than I thought. Maybe it gets better. Or maybe I'm just remembering wrong and I thought it was dope, but I just didn't bump it after I listened to it one time. But I say that I think I've heard it, but I don't really remember it. Obviously, Tim Pool's super popular, and him putting out a music video that is a political protest song is certainly worth a listen. If we're going to do that, if we're going to do online politics slash music video reactions, this is a great song. It's kind of a crossover between the two things. So what I do after I listen to the songs, I rate them from S, A, B, C, or D. S being at the very top, S tier, right? A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier. The last song we just did, High Res's Richmond North of Richmond, I put that in straight D tier. That goes in the trash can, right where it belongs. Chris Webby's version, we did an A tier. We gave an S tier to Oliver Anthony. I think I gave a B tier to Chris Webby's Raw Thought 6. So we're a little all over the place. Maybe the currently empty spot of C tier will be fulfilled by this song. Maybe it's better. Maybe it's worse. Like I said, I don't really remember. So for some examples of S tier songs I think are great, I would say Tom MacDonald's Sad Rappers. Though I don't like all of his music, that song is an S tier song. It's a great song, stays on message. It explores, it stays in a pocket and explores that kind of theme. It sounds great, etc. Another example would be Dead Prez. Police State. Another great example would be BYOB, Bring Your Own Bombs or Bring Your Own Beer by System of a Down. These are kind of like S tier. And of course, since, I started doing this, Oliver Anthony's Richmond North of Richmond, I also consider to be an S tier political song. So without further ado, I said it again. I know I keep saying that. Let's get into Tim Pool's Will of the People. Based off of what I remember, I'm thinking this is going to be bad again. I don't remember, but I think it might be bad. We'll see. Let's see if I remember. There's a specific spot. I'm assuming this must all be intro then, if this is the most played spot at 27 seconds. I do appreciate the mix starting in the front and rolling to the back. It does have a very Deftones vibe to it because of that. Okay, so that is where the song starts, but it's not even really. All right, is this supposed to be Karl Marx? Hold on, I'm. Here we go. It's hard to tell up here. It could just be anybody with a beard. Yeah. When I first looked at it, I was like, oh, is that Marks?
Out on the march in the morning, he called his soldiers down.
Okay, this is better than I thought it was. I didn't realize Tim Pool could sing.
He called his soldiers down to take aim at the traitors, to gun those rebels down. Now they'll face the consequences and held themselves above. This is the will of the people.
Okay, so it's okay. It's okay so far. The vocals are actually really good. I actually really do enjoy the tone.
Those rebels down.
It's a very post-punk kind of like feel to it, you know? To gun those rebels down. Right? Like, you know, it's got that kind of, you know, that like rocker kind of feminine high pitched, you know, tenor kind of post-punk, you know, that MGK thing, but without being, you know, over the top whiny. It's good. What I don't like is the music behind it. The vocals don't seem to be matching the music behind it. I don't get it. Right? Listen.
Now they'll face the consequences.
Right. Now they face the consequences. Right. So we walk down, and as we're walking down, I'm expecting the background music to change. I'm expecting there to be a transition in the drums. Like the drums should follow the I forgot the pitch now, but like the drums should follow the walking down, and then the music, and then the rest of the music maybe follow after the drums and the vocal line here. Or the bass could walk down with it, like something, but like it doesn't seem to change, and it feels awkward.
Themselves above. This is the will of the people. He said, I wish I could spare them.
Okay, so now we have the change here. It feels like it lagged, and then the drum, and like just like I thought. I mean, it's punk, right? Like the two step, like punk. The drums tend to lead in punk. But yeah, like then it transitions. So I mean, it happens, but it feels delayed. It doesn't feel timed right. But the vocals are great.
People, he said, I wish I could spare them, make them see the path. Tempting as that sounds, I love to pass. I know what's needed for the good of my people.
I know it's needed for the good of my people.
To save them.
From themselves, I'm guessing.
In the
I was expecting him just to save them from themselves, but just to save them, and then it was kind of empty. That was an interesting thing. I don't know if that's good or bad. That might just be a personal taste thing. Yeah, the lyrics so far are very generic. It's telling a story, it seems, of a. I can't tell if it's telling a story from the viewpoint of a authoritarian leader, or if it's more like a Keziah situation. For anybody that doesn't know, Keziah, great album. But like there's, you know, this idea of like, you know, the song told from multiple angles, you know, the person that is shot, the person doing the shooting, you know, et cetera. And you kind of have to figure out what perspective it's coming from. And I'm wondering if this is like a mishmash kind of Keziah being from Protest the Hero. Great. I was like, I don't know what you would call it, new metal, but it's not new metal. It's not math metal. It's post punk metal. I don't know what genre you would put Protest the Hero in.
dark, without warning, he raised his fist above, let it cry to his people, to tear those statues down. Now they'll face the consequences. They held themselves above. This is the will
again, that is such an awkward thing. The will of the people kind of chorus intro he's going into here. Yeah, so it seems like it shows the dictator figure looking down. So maybe it's not a Keziah situation. It's or in the sense that it's told from one perspective, which is the dictator.
I wish I could spare them, make them see the path. Tempting as that sounds, I'll have to pass. I know what's needed for the good of my people to stay there.
Okay, so yeah, I mean it is interesting too how he's invoking that's an interesting play. That elevates the song somewhat in the sense that the music video is showing, you know, the dictator, maybe not the dictator, but the person pulling the trigger, you know, on the separatists, you know, whatever they might be, rebels, I think is what he called them. And he's, you know, he's pulling the trigger. So it's like, I know it's needed, you know, I wish I could spare them, you know, I wish I could, you know, I wish I didn't have to kill these people, you know, kind of, you know, almost like a reserve battalion, 101, ordinary, what is it, ordinary men in reserve battalion 101 in Poland. I have to look up the exact name of the book, but you know, the idea of like these cops that are just kind of doing their job, and every step of the way they get a little bit more evil and they do a little bit more craziness. And before you know it, you know, regular police officers just trying to protect their own people were, you know, putting pregnant Jewish women in mass graves. And so like, it is interesting that that same lyric is then placed into the rebel in this instance, who's saying like, you know, fighting, you know, bash the fash, whatever, you know, that is fighting these people. Like, I wish I could save them, you know, but I know it's needed for my people. You know, it's interesting.
Drop your arms and
Also, for the record, disavow this imagery. If you're going to start a revolution, bring guns. Just throwing that out there.
drop your arms and march for them.
What?
Drop your arms and march for them. Turn against the wall and bow your head.
Okay, well, he brought the gun this time. It seems like the positions are reversed here. Was he a kid? Did I miss something? Was he a child? Is this him, like as a child hiding under the bed or something? Or like, I'm not watching the whole video again, but like, was he a child as his parents were done? And there's like a mirroring kind of idea here of like this person kneeling and getting the bullet. I don't know.
Speak your last words, let them be said.
All right, so we got a timeline going on. Dude's got a beard. Oh my God, is he going to become the dictator? That'd be kind of dope. That'd be kind of cool.
On a march in the morning, he called his comrades down to take aim at the traitors, to gun those fascists down. Now they face the consequences.
Did he change the lyrics? It sounds different.
On a march in the morning, he called his comrades down to take aim at the traitors, to gun those fascists down. Now they face the
I think the word traitors is different. Fascist is definitely different because that's where it was. We called them rebels before. So yeah, interesting. That is that. You know what? That does make this. That does elevate this. I mean, like, I don't know that it elevates it to the idea of like political activism, but it certainly does sell the idea of, Um, you know, oh God, what is it? This idea that like we think we're doing so much, but like or maybe the idea of like absolute power corrupts absolutely, right? Like there's a communist revolution, and then it's like, oh, the Lenin finally gets in power and we're gonna help everybody, and then they just become the dictator themselves.
Consequences. They held themselves above. This is the will of the people. He said, I wish I could find it, the way to restore peace. Blessed were those days we held in vain. I'd give it all for a chance at redemption as the cycle turns again.
Okay, so the cycle turns again. So he's a revolutionary that went through it, and then there is a cycle repeating itself. Don't trust the wolf, I think, is different than the signs they're holding up before. When it shows the crowd, I don't think they're. I think he's just the wolf or whatever. This is actually pretty interesting. This is actually pretty good. Musically, it's meh, but but the message is really good. I do enjoy this. I know that sounds so lame. Like I'm supposed to be like, yo, oh my God, it was the like. I don't. I'm giving you an honest reaction here. I mean, I'm sorry that I'm not over the top. Okay. That's it. That's the point of the Gears here. Is that like it's just a new dictator, a new puppet. Puppet to ideology, I mean.
If you think it ends here, think again.
That was man, I seem to remember listening to part of it and thinking that it was just cringe. And yeah. And it wasn't. It was actually pretty good. The vocals were pretty good. I would have liked for a little bit more energy. I would have liked for much better like the band was I don't want to say it's bad. It's not bad. It's just very basic, and there was some moments where it very easily could have been improved upon just listening to it a couple times. So like all in all, a B. I think a B. I think the video does a lot of the heavy lifting here. The video is very good. Because it helps convey a message, which I guess is in the lyrics of the song by changing the like rebels to fascists, and he speaks of the cycle towards the end, right? So it actually is in the song if you're listening to it, which is nice. I do enjoy that, like something isn't quite obvious. You maybe listen to it once or twice and then you kind of get it. Everyone will claim, oh, I got it on the first try. No, you didn't. But the video makes it really obvious, of course. So I mean, the video does a lot of work. I wonder who actually did the video. Musical arrangement and production. Don't care. That was one I would avoid. Johannes Othen. Interesting. I might have to look that person up. But no, it was good. It was good. I'd give it a B. It's a solid B. The message doesn't necessarily invoke, it's interesting because the thing that it invokes is not activism, but instead maybe introspection, which I think is probably just as important in politics, right? Like, are you just part of a tribe, a slave to an ideology? Or, are you a part of a machine that is kind of replacing dictators in a cycle of history? Or are you actually fighting for the good, fighting the good fight? Oh, goodness. Oh, yeah. Curtain. Got all wonky. There we go. Yeah, so I think B tier is pretty good. The lyrics are good. Yeah, I mean, I think the lyrics are good. The singing was okay. the musicality behind it is what keeps it from an A or an S tier for sure, because it could use a lot of improvement. The band could use a lot of improvement. It's worthy of liking. I'll give it a like. So yeah, B tier. Still, no one's sitting in that C tier yet. We will find a song sufficiently bad, but not as bad as High Res's remix of Richmond and North of Richmond to fulfill that C tier soon enough. Let me know in the comments what other songs you want to hear. I've a few written down somewhere of other more obscure songs that I kind of do want to check out. But of course, as stuff pops off immediately, we're gonna hitch on that bandwagon so we can get clicks. Like I'm never gonna lie to you boys. Like sometimes we do things for the clicks. What I try not to do is lie for the clicks, be a fraud for the clicks. But yeah, sometimes if a song's popular, I'm gonna talk about that, or if a topic's popular, I'm gonna talk about that because hopefully I have a unique perspective that needs to be heard. But also I'm trying to make money, right? So I appreciate you guys for being here. Please consider liking, sharing, subscribing, and check out the other songs in the playlist. With that being said, well, if you're just here for the music reactions, I'll see you Tuesday. If you want to check out some of my interviews and debates and stuff, there's a ton of other stuff on the channel. And if you want to check out the gaming channel, Fabian 101, scroll all the way down on the main channel and you'll see a link to that as well. Or you can just click the link tree and find all my socials. So thank you guys so much, and we'll see you Tuesday. We'll see you next time.